Bears. If you've ever heard the term mama bear, chances are the first thing you think of is a huge mass of angry brown fur bounding towards you with malicious intent, because you got a little too close to a similar looking, smaller version of it. Aside from the fact that they live in the wild and can't just drop their baby into a playpen while they go grocery shopping, there's a few obvious reasons why mama bears are so protective of their cubs. Most of the reason why being that they protect them from other predators because let's be honest, if you know letting this little guy grow into a not so little guy can spell death for you in a few years or so, you're gonna want to take it out at the source. On top of other predators, one of the biggest real threats to bear cubs is adult male bears. The issue here is that male bears love kids, as long as they're not somebody else's. In fact, if a male grizzly comes across a female that already has cubs, he's not going to offer to pay for her daycare services so he can take her out on a nice dinner date. The kids are his dinner, and the date comes afterwards for him, because with them out of the way, now she can come into season again and have his cubs. Hyenas. Life as a hyena is already much easier in general if you're a female, not a male. You're born into more power as a low-ranking female than you ever would be as a male of any rank. And this may make you think, wow, I wish I was a hyena. No, I don't think you do. Or at least you won't when I tell you why being born as a hyena at all is like winning the lottery. Childbirth is difficult for most mammals and egg laying can be difficult as well. But imagine having to pass your young through this. Female hyenas have genitalia that is often compared to males, with the birth canal being long, thin, and barely equipped for the birthing process by comparison to almost any other placental mammal. Approximately 10 to 20% of hyena moms die while trying to give birth for the first time, and for reasons I'm pretty sure obvious, 60% of firstborn cubs perish during the process. Octopuses. We're all familiar with the octopus, especially the giant Pacific octopus, which is usually what comes to mind when you hear the name. They're well known for being surprisingly intelligent for something without a single bone to its name, and a brain that's as alien from ours as it is complex. It makes sense to assume that when these cephalopods have babies, being so intelligent, they protect them, show them things, and teach them all the amazing tricks and techniques octopuses are known for. Some of which include using tools, solving complex tasks, and escaping containers. The truth, however, is that Octomom is little more than a lackluster reality TV show on TLC. Incubating them for an average of 6 to 10 months, the octopus will stick around guarding her clutch, which can have up to 100,000 eggs inside. She has to stay to protect them from predators that will see this massive clump of eggs as free, easy protein, and to fan them with oxygen-rich water, which they need to stay alive and continue to develop. You'd think that at least once she's done brooding and the baby's all hatched, she'd be free to go off and mate again or just continue her life, but no. She tends to expend the last of her energy on this final task, not moving from the nest or eating at all during the entire process. There's apparently some misconceptions about the babies eating the mother after birth, but these are untrue to my knowledge. Octopuses have standards. They're not like spiders. Alligators. You don't usually hear the word reptile and think of maternal instinct. It's more well known and well documented in mammals and to an extent birds, even though birds are reptiles. But there are in fact several species of snakes that incubate their eggs, and being a mammal doesn't automatically make you a good mom either. Mother alligators are known to build large nests out of sticks, mud, and leaf litter, which they lay their eggs inside of to incubate. They carefully arrange this mound of decaying plant matter and moist earth somewhere near the water's edge, so once they all hatch, she can gently snap them up into some of the most deadly jaws in nature and carry them to the safety of a watery nursery, where she continues to guard them closely. Her babies will hang around this nest site for about 1 to 2 years, learning how to hunt small things like bugs and tiny fish, and vocalizing, mostly to their mother when something startles them. Mom is never far behind either, as a result pulling the Uno reverse card on anyone who thinks they can just show up and help themselves to an easy meal. Cheetahs. Picture this, you wake up in the morning, stretch, and you yawn. The sun feels warm, and it's the rainy season, so life's not all that stressful right now. Then you walk over to a watering hole and get a drink. Looking at your reflection, you realize you are a mother cheetah with 5 sons. Fuck. You are not a scary bear or alligator, you're not the most overpoweringly intelligent thing in your neighborhood, and you don't even have an entire gang of the most dangerous guys on the savannah behind you. You are a big small cat with pretty little spots and trust issues, and for good reason. You are alone, and you can't even walk up a tree with zero effort while benching your body weight, and all the other carnivores know it. Like most other wildcats, cheetah males will appear out of nowhere, mate, and then be on their way. They don't stay to help raise cubs, but being a single parent is nothing out of the ordinary in nature. What's specifically bad for cheetahs is that they face all the same issues as previously listed, but compared to a charging mother bear, they're a moderately disgruntled toddler with a stick. Cheetahs sit quite uncomfortably in the middle, big enough to be treated like a threat, but just small enough to not actually be one to anyone else. Having a body that's evolved for speed, it's hard to have anything else going for you, which means other carnivores are always looking for an opportunity to pick off you and your young just to get rid of future competition. With no pride to help hunt, the cheetah's life gets exponentially more difficult as she goes from having to feed herself to having to now feed 4 to 6 different moms. This is even more of a kick in the ovaries when you realize the cheetah's success rate is around 40 to 60%. This is actually pretty high, and cheetahs would be considered one of the most viable predators in their niche, if they didn't get their kills stolen so often by bigger, more capable paws. With the rate of deaths for cheetah cubs being higher than gas prices, it's pretty clear why cheetahs are number one in my opinion, and it's pretty rare that each cub in the litter will survive to adulthood. But some cheetah moms pull it off, and as a mom who's probably never going to have to consider wrestling with an African lion to keep my kid alive, I can respect that. Happy Mother's Day.